Welcome to the Bagchucker podcast, where we break down life on the road in the NHL.
We're your hosts, Chris Mason and Hal Gill, a.k.a. Mace and Skillsy, former NHL players, current broadcasters for the Nashville Predators, lifelong Bagchuckers, dads, brothers, and sons. We've seen it all from the bus rides to the big leagues.
Each week, we'll dive into what's going on around the league. We'll give you travel tips, places to go, things to do, and stories from years of living out of a suitcase.
What do you say, Mace? Lobby in 10.
Just chuck your bags and let's go. All right, welcome back to the Bagchucker podcast, episode 7. We're 7 episodes in. Of course, I'm joined by the godfather of Chuck, Harold Priestley Gill III.
You have to tell him you're Chris Mason.
I'm
you're
Chris Mason,
Mace,
aka
the savior.
Well, that's far from that, but Chris Mason joined with the Godfather. There's no better nickname than that, I don't think. But Skillsy, you just came back. You had a great night in Tampa Bay. We'll talk about that. I miss you, buddy. We haven't been able to. We haven't traveled. ESPN's taking all our games right now, all the good ones too, by the way. Thanks, ESPN.
Yeah, FanDuel Sports Network has been pumped aside for a couple games on the road, so we missed chucking bags together, and it's not the same without you, bud. I won't lie to you.
It's not the same. And right now I'm watching the game, and I'm very envious, and I would say, what are the 7 deadly sins? Jealousy is not a good one to have, but I've had those feelings, and it kind of hurts, and I kind of miss it. Yeah. But we're gonna get it back in November.
Well, radio keeps me on the road. Yeah. I'm off 102.5. We don't sleep.
You don't.
There, we're
radio is they're the blue collar of entertainment. There's no question.
Yeah. Just grinding.
And you got
fourth liner,
and you bring it to well, the people need you. The people need radio, and you guys deliver. You have a great crew too.
I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate.
But we got a good episode. We got a lot of stuff to cover. But one of the things, Skillsy, that's coming up in November, which you've been very passionate about, and Bagchucker, trying to support our service members, the military, the police, the fire, everybody that serves the community in those roles. Skillsy, the Service Cup is at November 23rd. We have coming up. That's
November 22nd, Friday, November 22nd.
Yes, okay, and that's so tell me all about it, Skillsy. It's gonna be a fun event.
Yeah, it's awesome. One of the things we started with Bagchucker is let's give back. And I think both of us were like, military, first responders that were playing hockey. Let's get them on the ice. Let's help them out. That's our wheelhouse. And so this is kind of a service cup. What we're going to do is we're going to have 4 teams, police team, fire team, and then 2 military teams that are going to get out on the ice and duke it out for the Service Cup. And it's going to be a quick game. We got sponsors with Black Abbey, great beer. Oh, yeah. So we're going to have a couple beers.
They made a Bagchucker beer a couple years ago.
Yeah, They did make a Bagchucker.
That was like a combo. The combo of like yours and mine. That was actually pretty.
Yeah, milkshake IPA it was called, and it was delicious. I'll get on them. We need to do that again. But Martin's Barbecue, Pat Martin is awesome. Generously offered some food, so we're going to feed the boys. We're going to give them some drinks. We're going to go play some hockey. We got some alumni that are coming out, so that's going to be really cool. I'm excited about it. It should be a lot of fun, and ideally, we want to raise money so that we can run weekly clinics and get these guys some ice time so they can play hockey, and it's kind of their outlet. These guys work hard for us, and we want to pay them back. And hey, we know hockey, so we can pay them back with hockey.
And that's what we do, and that's what they need. Especially like Brian Bailey is one of our good friends. That this is kind of why we wanted to donate all the stuff to the military and to the service members, is because what he does, and the fact that he's trying to get people together and get over the transition out of the military, and obviously it's a very traumatic experience.
And that's who we started with, was Brian Bailey and 7 Element. That was a great group that had almost 1,000 members at the
started with like 30 or something, like not even like a handful of people.
And it was just get these guys out on the ice and bring them all together and share a common bond of playing hockey with each other. And that became a lot to
Yeah.
handle. So that's broken up, but there's a lot of groups that still need
Yeah.
hockey. So we're trying to
Well,
help
it's all
them out
about the
with that. And
yeah,
Service Cup
absolutely.
is gonna be a good way
Yeah,
to get
and it's
that
all
going.
about the locker room talking to each other, and
Yeah.
if you guys trust me, we did the Shelter Cup, and if you think it's just going to be a bunch of guys laughing and passing the puck around and giggling, these guys are diehards, man. They're gonna go out there.
Oh
They
yeah.
want to win. They want to win.
Yeah. Anytime police and fire
Oh,
go against each other, we all know
military. I don't care
it
if you're
gets competitive.
military, but you split up into two. They're going at it. They want to win, so it'll be
Yep.
fun. It'll be fun in
Yep.
that regard as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm excited
that'll be
about that.
awesome.
More details to come.
More
More
details to
details to
come.
come.
We'll touch on it here at the end, but it's going to be fun. Follow along for that. But Skillsy, last night, I don't know when this is going to be released, but Monday night, which is an odd night for a game, Monday Night Football, you got all the things, you got the World Series. But I was watching from home because we weren't doing the broadcast. I know you were there in Tampa. So I love these types of moments. And this is a player, we're talking about Steven Stamkos going back to Tampa Bay. This is a generational talent. He's a first overall draft pick. He played 16 years for the Tampa Bay Lightning, 2 cups, a final. He did it all. He's one of the probably one of the nicest people I think in hockey, like just genuine
Yeah.
nice people. He is a player that should, in my opinion, have retired as a Tampa Bay Lightning player, and he's going to go up in the, he'll be a Hall of Fame. And you got to see the night where he came back to arguably the place he should have never left. And I know as a player, and it was not even close to that extent, and I know you do as well, of going back to an old team that you have all your
Yeah.
the kid, he grew up there. He was 18 years old.
18. Yeah, when he
He's
started
18.
off
He's got
there.
3 kids now. He's went from a kid to a man to a father to a husband to a captain to a Stanley Cup, a person that lost. They're supposed to, I remember when they lost out in the first round, they won the President's Trophy. They lost to Columbus. They won the Stanley Cup the next 2 years in a row. But he's been through everything in his life in Tampa Bay, and obviously, I think the Lightning probably muffed that whole situation. I mean, how do you not find a way to re-sign Steven Stamkos? But regardless, that's another opinion. But you were there. Tell me about the energy, what was the day like? Because it must have started the night before.
It's a lot for them. Like, don't forget, he flew his wife down and they went out for dinner with, he was hanging out with Victor Hedman, his buddy, and they're
Dunsey.
like, so there's a lot going on. Just Headsy, he was like, they were going out, and that's emotional in its own right, is just being back in your old stomping grounds and we've all gone through that, and it's not easy. But then he gets to the rink in the morning and there's media everywhere. He had a huge scrum, and they had, and everywhere he goes. And that was the weirdest thing for me after leaving the Bruins. I was with the Bruins for 9 years, and then I go to Toronto. I come back in and I'm like, I don't know where to go. This is a whole different rink. The bus dropped me off, and I was looking around going, I don't even know this part of the rink. Like, so I had to figure out where to go and how to get in there. And so for Stammer, he's sitting around, his head was kind of spinning for a little while. And they ask, what do you say? What do you tell media? I don't know how this is going to go. Is it going to be emotional? I don't know. I want to go play the game. They had a great ceremony at the first break, TV break at the 14-minute mark. And they gave him a huge ovation. He did the full lap. It was really awesome. The video was kind of crazy because they showed his evolution over the years, just this young kid coming in, and then he had the beard during the playoffs. He had the long hair at one point,
That's crazy.
And I'm looking at it going, just a generational player. Just like, he's just a beast for them, and they love him. They chanting his name, and it was really cool to be there. But I honestly, I think luckily it's earlier in the season because it didn't drag on as much.
Yeah.
I think it's been a weight on him. I think he can close that chapter now. Okay, the Lightning chapter is done, and I'm moving on, and I'm a Pred now, and I'm hoping he can relax now and get into his game and play his game.
I agree. I mean, it was amazing. I think they should have done. I wish they had done one with him on the blue line waiting for the anthem, and done one at the beginning of the game, because I feel like that really, you get to see when a player's probably at their most vulnerable, I would say, before the game starts, because we all get, I think, like, this is one thing, and I watch you every single time. If we're in a booth beside each other, and the anthem's playing, I would think you're playing that game, because you do the same thing that you did when you're playing. Like, that's an
Yeah.
emotional part of a player's preparation. Like, you're seeing the anthem, and you still, you move the neck around, you have that energy, that that you're just ready to go to war right before, that's
Yeah.
it. That's after that, it's go time. So you get to,
Yeah.
respect and appreciate your nation. And when they do Canada and US together, I love that even more, even though it takes a little bit longer. It's can be annoying now for TV, but it's just that energy that you have. And I think that's when you get a guy at their most vulnerable. We talked about, I think I sent you guys one. PK sent out his,
Yeah.
and Montreal did that. And I was like, well, way to go, PK.
No offense,
Yeah,
PK, not
yeah,
nearly
but
the
you make it
career
about
that.
yourself, and it's like, whatever. But it was freaking awesome. Like, it was, and I love those moments, because I think the older you get, the more that you appreciate that. When you're still a player, especially when you're young, you don't care. Like, you do, but you don't. You have, and our next
Yeah.
topic is kind of phasing into that. But I feel like Tampa, you don't want to do this all the time, but for a player like Stamkos, that's worth delaying the start time of a game. That's a special,
Yeah.
once in a lifetime kind of a player. It's the best Tampa Bay Lightning player to have ever played in that organization.
Yeah, give him 5 minutes to grab the mic and say his words before the game starts, and you know, play the anthem and then drop
Yeah,
the puck. I think that would have been maybe better, but it was awesome. I thought
yeah,
it was great, but I think he deserves anything you could give him. It doesn't happen for someone plays 16
no,
years with one team and
no.
then goes on and
But
plays
everybody
somewhere.
wants, like, you
Yeah,
want to see, like, I want to see a tear out of Stammer's eye. Like, even though when you're in the game, you're
yeah,
past that sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, you had a shift, he had a great, and they're all cheering, and so you're kind of like past that moment where I feel John Cooper, and you didn't see this too on the broadcast. They showed him, because he was kind of, you could tell he was trying to hold it back, and some of the
yeah.
players, which was really cool, and they did it. They did a great job. They really did.
Well, I told you my story about moving on from teams, but uh, when I was in Pittsburgh, we won the cup. I was excited. I only played for Pittsburgh for 2 years. Um, I signed in Montreal after that, and they had a day. You go with the team, you go to the White House, and you get to meet the president and do that whole thing. And I turned it down because I was at a Montreal Canadiens golf
Yeah,
tournament, and my head was gone. Like, I was not a
yeah,
penguin anymore. I needed to fast forward. My mind space could not be in the past. I had my day with a cup. I loved those guys. I wanted to be with those guys, but now I'm not. Now I have, 20 new best friends, and I need to be with these guys because we got a
yeah,
job to do. And so I think everyone processes now, looking back. I go, what an idiot. Why wouldn't you go to the White House? It's
yeah.
so dumb. I should have gone to the White House. I should have told the Montreal Canadiens I can't make the golf tournament because I'm going to go to the White House. But
But you're a team
in
guy,
that
though. Like that,
time,
we were looking back. It's crazy, because you're conditioned to think a certain way, and it's almost like you almost have to get, because I don't know if it's like, I'm the same thing happened for me. I played in Nashville, the first team that ever gave me a chance. I played there for 6 years. I played in their minor league team for 4 years, got traded or got let go, and then came back in the expansion draft. But the first 6 years I played in the National Hockey League was with Nashville. I got traded in the summer at the draft. I had a terrible year. They traded me to St. Louis. It was kind of like a fresh start, but you just have those feelings. That's the one thing about players is people, if you listen to media and fans and stuff talk, they're like, oh, you make $1 million and blah, 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 and this and that. Yeah, of course you do. It's amazing. It's the best life in the world, but you also have feelings. You also have a family. You also are, as much as you think you're, the strongest guy in the world all the time, and you're immune to these kind of things, you feel those things. You should have went to the White House,
yeah,
like, looking back.
yeah,
But Chris Pronger, this is into our next segment. I sent you this video. I'm like, this is awesome. You're like, oh, I saw that. It's awesome. We got to talk
yeah.
about this. And Chris Pronger was known. I have met Chris Pronger after he played in the NHL. He's, one of the best, and you probably appreciate and respect him more than anyone, and hate him probably at the same time, which we all did. I've heard guys that play. This guy's cocky. He's an arrogant. Blah blah blah. He's this. He's that. He's one of the nicest guys. He's funny. He's not. He doesn't have that like. And this was after he played. And I think we all kind of come out of our alter ego. But so my question is to you.
So explain that video that Pronger does.
So his explanation on this video, it's recently. So he's been retired for a lot of years. He's done a lot of good things in hockey. He's worked with the league, but he is out there, getting the message and exposing, different things around the game. And a lot of it's about just being a real person. And as a player, you get a certain persona. You have to almost develop an alter ego. And this is not a vicious guy. This is not a mean-spirited person.
I beg
exactly. And so did I. I was like, this guy's, because he'd be in the interviews, he'd be the same. It's almost like when you see in wrestling or boxing or whatever. And I would watch a documentary on Roberto Duran, one of the greatest boxers to ever fight in the history of boxing. And it was the same thing for him. It's incredible. But his thing was he had to develop this character, this alter ego, because he had a certain way that he had to play to be successful and to dominate and to do all these things. And so he took on this persona. And I'll ask you, and I'll tell you my situation after. It was incredible just because it's so true, and so many guys do it. And so many guys I see that I played with, after they're done, they're different people. And I did this for that's the only way I could have made it. And I know you're a big guy, and I know you, when I played against you, when I played with you, you were a freaking savage. But I know you as a person. I know everybody's like, this tough guys go out there and kill each other. But let me ask you, what did you have to create that alter ego?
You know what? I think I wouldn't call it an alter ego, but it's a mindset. And it's for each player, it's different, I think. And there's putting yourself in a position where you let yourself go, like you can't, everyone said you can't play with fear, right? You can't play with fear at all. You have to have a kill or be killed mindset. You're going to give everything you got. And so at certain times I would have reminders that I'm not who I am. For instance, right before a game, I'd go out in the hallway and I'd start banging on my shin pads with my stick, and I just bang, and I think it was annoying for a lot of people.
Why are you doing that?
It was like, but I'm just banging my shin pads, and then I'd start barking like a dog, like just like a hard growl, like kind of like I'm engaged, I'm in this. And not to say that I was like a dog out there, but I had that mindset. Before a penalty kill, I'd see one of our teammates take a penalty, and I'd look at it, and I'd look at the puck, and I'm say, I'm going to eat that thing. I'm going to eat that shot. I'm going to go. And I said it in my head, I'm going to eat that shot. Yeah. And I'd go out there, and my mindset was, that puck is coming. I'm staring at it. I'm going to block it.
Yeah.
That is my puck, and I'm like a dog on a bone. I'm going to get after it. And so would I ever do that and now we always laugh because I walk down by the glass and someone fires a shot. Like, whoa, that was so hard.
Now we're soft again.
Now I'm running away. I'm like peed my pants a little bit because that shot went off the glass right next to my
We're soft
ear.
and emotional
so
now.
Loud.
We're soft and we have emotions. What's going on here?
And then I look around going, why did I stand? Why would I stand in front of that when someone is shooting that? That's insane.
It's honestly, it's when I look back on that stuff, and I'm an overthinker, and I think about this stuff all the time. And I think about the ability of a human being to just almost, you can put everything on. And I did the same thing. Like right before I'd take my stick and I would put it in the air before I twirled it down and whatever, my little routine. But I would do the self-talk. I'd say, I don't know if probably shouldn't swear, but I'd say, you get your mother head in it, get your head in it, and I would like get myself in like that, like you're just whatever. I wasn't a talented, like most skilled blue chip kind of a prospect. Like I made it because I worked hard. And the more people either called me out on like, you think you work hard? I told you the one about when I worked hard on the ice. That's all I did, when I first started, but I didn't work hard in the gym. I didn't work hard on my nutrition. I didn't work hard on the other stuff. And then I was like, okay. And I love learning that new stuff. And then I commit to that. And then, when you get into like pro hockey, I know you played in an era where I would say the biggest, toughest. I don't know how skilled players played against you, by the way. I was talking to Ray Ferraro, and he's like, "Yeah, I got about skillsy," and he's going on like, how does a little guy like that like even compete against somebody like you guys? And I know you had to go against Yager and Lemieux, but it
Yeah.
was a different era of like, but
No,
you have to, and then plus you had all the other tough guys, and you're 6'8", and everyone's going, "Oh, I'm gonna fight this guy." And so you got to deal with all the monsters too. It was like, you can't just as a normal person go out there and just say, "Hey, I'm just going to go play hockey and do the best I can." You got to get yourself in a mindset where you're like, you're almost everything is compartmentalized, and you got to get ready for, not war obviously, but a battle. Like, and for
yeah.
you and players that would have to fight back then, man, that'd be a mental, mind screw.
But you have to find your own level of toughness, and I think this is what people find hard is players, youth players especially, is where am I going to be tough? If you're a
Yes.
goalie, your mental toughness comes from I will never quit
Yeah.
on a puck. You were like that. I've never seen, like, I don't care if it was an easy backdoor tap in. I've never seen you not give everything you can to make that save. That was your mental toughness. If you gave up a goal as a goalie, right? Like, you have to
Yeah.
dial back in. Like, you can't get fragile
No.
and cry. You can't. That's your level of toughness. For me, there's fighters that go out there and fight. And they just punch each other in the face, and they don't care if they get
No.
punched back. They're just going for it, and that's a level of toughness. There's a guy that blocks a shot. That's a
Well, you did
level
it in
of toughness.
practice, so that's probably a
Yes,
level of
like,
craziness as well. And they say,
well,
"Goalies, you
no,
guys
but
are
it
crazy." I'm like, "Look at the gear I
but
got."
you're always
Yeah,
challenging. But you're always challenging that toughness. Uh, if you go in a corner, if you're a little guy and you got to fight out of a corner, that's a level of toughness. It's scary going in
yeah,
there against big guys that are going to try to run you. So you need to find that toughness. I don't think toughness is just like across the board. Oh, he's a
no,
tough
absolutely not.
player, because I know a lot of fighters that would never block a shot.
Yeah,
Don't even get into a goal scorer's mind. You have to be the toughest mentally, because I'm having an off night. Things aren't going right. But you have to know in the back of your head, I might get the game winner in
yeah,
overtime,
exactly.
and I'll be the
Yeah,
hero. And I got to keep going because I got to get there. You can't take the
yeah,
game off. The best players in the world don't take a game off just because they're like, I'm
yeah,
not feeling it. You have to have the
yeah,
mental toughness to power through that. And I think that all goes with that alter ego, that mindset is battling
yeah.
through that. Now, how do you tell a kid to do
You
that?
don't.
How do you say to a youth hockey player, a youth soccer player, like, where are you? Because I know with girls, I
So
have
do I.
two
Yeah, me
girls,
too.
and they get their toughness from their teammates. It's social,
That's
right?
how
If
that's
if
how
my
I felt. That's how the love of a sport in my same as my situation. And then once they get to a certain age, then it's like you start getting competitive. But I think you're right. It's the love of going to be with your friends is how it starts
eh,
for my girls, especially. And now they're in that,
yeah,
and yours are for sure. But it's so important. Exactly. I think organically you have to get that as an individual. But that's a great question. I think it's different for every person. I remember when I was a young player, I just moved away from Canada. I'm a simple guy. I don't know. I didn't know anything. And moving down the States, and you go through all these emotions, and break up with a girlfriend and affect. How do you stop letting things? And it sounds like almost like caveman ish. How do you block emotions from getting in? Well, you practice it. You
yeah,
compartmentalize, and maybe it's good. It's good in sports if you can do that. It's maybe not good in life because it affects other things, and it's easy to, the older you get, you're like, okay, well, I can just put this aside. I don't have to deal with it now because I have to perform, and you do whatever you do.
yeah.
And that's another topic for another day. But to your point, how do you get someone to do that? I don't know. I think I just did it because I wanted to get to the next level. And I experience things. I take the emotion of things, very whole, but I learned to not do it. I learned to put it aside, and I learned to, just be, I guess, a person that could get into your alter ego and do whatever it takes to win and to be as best as I could. Cause like I said, I wasn't a skill player. There's no guarantee. I probably shouldn't have made the
Yeah.
NHL. I played with a lot of guys that were way better than me. I got in there and I was able to hang around.
Heart is a skill,
Yeah,
Mace.
it
Heart
is.
is
It
a
all is.
skill.
But that's that's what you're talking about. Like those are the things. Like every person has a different level of toughness. Like I played with David Legwan. Anyone who ever played against David Legwan would probably say he's not a tough guy. Yeah,
Who bro?
but
Who?
I saw this guy. He played through so many injuries. He played but stuff that you would say he's not. You wouldn't say on the exterior. This guy's tough. He's like whatever, and you know. But he played through so many different things. He loved the game. He had a passion about it, and he did whatever it took for him to do it. And I feel that's tough.
Yeah.
That is exactly. There's
Yeah.
different. There's tough for every different person. And we all saw a player. I'm sure you
Yeah.
saw a bunch of players that everyone on the outside would say, "Oh, he's not tough. What are you talking about?" But
Yeah.
it's special and it's very individual. I think.
Yeah. The other thing is I think tough is ignoring distractions.
Yeah,
You talked about there's a lot of things going on in your life, and it could be as simple. I remember there's one of my, in my career, we had an afternoon game, and I was all excited because we were going to go have dinner and have a party, and I was already thinking about it.
oh yeah, of
And
course.
so I woke up in the
Oh
morning
yeah,
and I'm like, this
yeah,
is gonna be great. After the game, we're gonna do this. And I started. I had a bad game, and then I went out to dinner, and it hit me like a hammer when I was sitting at dinner because I was like, this sucks. I
yeah,
ruined everything because I wasn't prepared for the game and I was thinking
yeah,
past it and I was excited. You're a youth hockey player. You're excited about going to the pool and playing knee hockey in the room after the game. You're not worried
yeah,
about the game. And so I think you need to you need to get in your mindset like that's a distraction. How am I going to solve that? Okay, I got to go and play this game and I'm going to win this game so I can have the best night ever. I can,
yeah,
that needs to be, I need to have the best game ever. So tonight when I go to dinner, I go play knee hockey. It's the best. It's the
yeah,
best. I feel the
yeah,
best. And there's other things, if you're excited about, and it goes back to teammates and the social aspect. And the ironic thing is it stands out for me with having young girls and how they just want to
yeah,
play with their friends and they my kids like if they didn't really love their teammates they weren't going to play that hard. It was
yeah,
just like but and it stands out with girls more so, but really with men, with boys, it stands out even more when you think about it because there's teammates that you don't like,
yeah. And
right?
there's more pressure. Exactly.
Every every teammate there's just someone you don't like. So how do you handle that? How do you handle that
Yeah,
distraction? Do you and I think you have to look at it as like I'm going to prove to him that
yeah,
I'm awesome. And he better love me because I'm going to prove it to him. If you love a guy, you're going
yeah,
to play for him. Like I'm going to give you everything I got because
yeah,
I love you and you're my
yeah,
best friend. And so, however, there's so many distractions that you deal with. Being mentally tough is turning that into what are
yeah,
you going to do and how
yeah.
are you going to play?
Exactly. And I'll go. I tell this story all the time, and we'll have to do an episode there. I saw a funny Instagram video of a dad getting kicked out of the rink, and he was on the square that's not kicked out of the rink. He goes, "No, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. Come get me." And he's like, then to the parents, he's like, "Donnie, shut your mouth, Donnie." Whatever. But it's like the parents are the ones that ruin it. But for my daughter, I had one of these like moments, which was she was 10. Okay, and the pitcher on the team, she's a D1 commit now. She's amazing, and she's just dominant. But when she was a kid, she was just like one of these free spirited. They just love being together. And all the parents, we're at a tournament way out of our league for our team, and we're probably losing. It was after 2 innings. It's probably like 16. We got mercy ruled, whatever, 2 innings in a row, and the girls are getting killed. And we drove out there like 5 in the morning. You had to be there at 6, and all the parents are going, "Oh my god." Everyone's got all the answers. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? And the pitcher, she was pitching. She just getting teed off on left and right. She comes up and it's ready to start the inning, and she's in the she's in the yeah, better
Batter's
waiting to,
box.
she's taking her warm up
Yeah.
swing on
On
deck
deck
circle.
circle.
She's waiting,
There you go.
and then she looks to the parents, the guy that's keeping the game changer, and she goes, "Are we winning?" And I'm like, oh my! Everyone just started burst out laughing because we're all like, everyone's all like, bitter, feeling sorry for the girls. She's pitching, and she asks if she's winning, like, but they just love being together, and that's to your point, that all that kind of stuff. And now
They're still doing the
they're
chants.
doing the
They're still
chants.
living the
They just
dream.
they
Like,
care about
yeah,
going and doing the dances after, and like, what are we gonna go eat? And but she carried on, and now she's a D1 commit. She pitches like almost 70 miles an hour, a softball pitcher. She's incredible. But
yeah,
that's like, that was the start, and that's the mindset. She
yeah,
loved it. She didn't love the playing of the game. She loved being around her teammates and all that kind of stuff.
yeah. And then I think you develop the love for the
Yes,
game because you're
and it's
playing with your
fun.
friends,
It's fun.
and then you're having fun with your friends, and then you say, "Hey, I like competing," because it doesn't really set
No,
in until you're a little bit older, right? Like that compete, like
you get
you
mad
know,
if you lose. You get mad if somebody beats you. Like, you don't understand it when you're young.
yeah, like you find a little
Oh
extra
yeah.
switch because these a lot of kids don't know how to work hard. You're like, "Come on, you got to work hard." They're like, "I
Yeah.
don't
I
know."
didn't know. I didn't know
Like,
what working hard. I was like, oh yeah, go and like run fast, do this. You don't know what working hard is until you play against or see people that work hard, and you can compare
yeah,
yourself. You're like, holy, I'm not working
yeah,
hard compared to so and so. I gotta. You
yeah.
just don't know. You don't know.
My son is starting to say, "My legs are they're burning. They hurt so much." And I'm like, "Yeah, that should be every shift." And he's like, "I know, but it hurts." And I'm like, "Yep,
But
that's
and you
called
know
the
what's
burn,
funny?
buddy." Yeah, and you're starting to go. He's starting to work harder than he
Isn't
ever has,
psychology
and he's starting to get that feeling more and more.
exactly?
And and then but that's the beauty of it. That's when I think you start to love it
Exactly the
even
psychology
more
of it.
because you're like, "Oh, I like this
The
rush."
psychology is the most fascinating thing for me, because I see you. I played with you, and I saw you. Obviously, I played against you. I knew a lot about you before I ever met you. But you really get to see what someone's all about when we're in the lockout and you're in practice. You're blocking shots in the friggin' lockout. We're playing 3-on-3. No one's coming out. Things are dying down, and I'm like, so you block a shot. You're on my team. I'm like, fucking right, skills. Like, I'm like, there's nobody. It doesn't matter, but it does matter, and you get that in your DNA. You
Yeah.
just can't help it. Like, that's just, it's who you are. Even though you're probably thinking, do I really want to? You can't help it. You probably think after, yeah,
Well, I like blocking a shot in practice because I could celebrate after. You do it in game. You can't do anything. As the game goes on, you should if you get a good block shot, you should be able to
yeah,
pump it, shoot the glove or
yeah.
something. I don't
It's
know.
crazy. But I'll finish with this because I actually just watched this documentary about Roberto Duran, and it was there was 4 boxers. It was probably right when we were young kids, but it was Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and who
Yeah,
was the other one? There was one other guy that was one of the best fighters. This is after Muhammad Ali retired. And Roberto Duran was from Panama, and he was this guy from a third world country. And he came over. The first big fight he had over was when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard. And Sugar Ray went in there, and he's going to fight. He wants to go toe to toe. He said he's never been so mad at a fight because Roberto Duran came over, and he would like follow Sugar Ray's wife around and like say stuff like, "You're not with a real man," and blah blah blah. Like, just a hard nose, like just psychological, like whatever. Like, he's just one of the hardest punchers to ever, fight. And Sugar Ray lost. Whatever, they went the distance. He lost, and then he said he's never been so mad in his entire life going into a fight, and that his emotions got all like it skewed him.
yeah,
So the next time they fight, it was round 2 of this whatever trilogy. And he went in there and he went, he started doing like kind of rope a dope kind of stuff, like showboat. And he's like, I didn't know what I want to do, and blah blah blah. Fast forward to many years later, he's like, finally, he's like, we had another fight, and then Sugar Ray beat him in the trilogy on a decision. But he said, I asked Roberto, he said, because he was just stone cold. He said he had that look in his eyes where it's just dead. He was wanted to kill you. He came from poverty, and those types of things as a fighter is probably something I think would benefit you. And meanwhile, he's probably the most like fun-loving, laughable type of personality, but he put this alter ego, like he created this to be a savage. And he
yeah,
said, did you really hate me that
yeah.
much? And he said, Roberto Duran like paused. He kind of looked around and he goes, no, I never hated you. Are you kidding me? And he's like, you know what? He's like, I created, but you have to create that to be whatever you want to be. And it's the psychology of it. It's kind of crazy, but you
Yeah.
have to, everyone's different. The guys that have the
Uh,
talent can do it. The guys that I think are superstars are obsessed with it in our sport, in hockey
yeah.
especially, but it's, the psychology of it's just amazing. And it transfers through life.
And
Like it
and
doesn't matter
and
sport or whatever you do.
and I honestly I think it's different for every
Absolutely.
person too.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
like you can't just put a blanket on it. You got to find out what makes
Yeah.
you tough.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well, let's change it to a funner one, Skills. You texted me this one, which was, this could be, this is, I don't know how to, I'm going to do, we're going to,
I want to hear what I'm hoping we get feedback on this. This is a conversation that I had before a game, talking to some of the ESPN. John Buchagras and AJ Malesko did the Chicago game, and so we had a little conversation about fan etiquette and is it okay as a grown man to wear a hockey jersey to a game?
like,
Is that okay? And what are the parameters on that? Obviously, kids, go get your jerseys. But I feel like if you and I were going to a hockey game, I don't know if you and I would wear a jersey.
no, I don't know. I don't,
I know
but
I
would you
wouldn't
wear
wear
a
a
jersey
jersey.
or like, okay, let's, I think more importantly is what are the parameters? Like I could see myself, cause I actually, the last jersey I bought was when I went to New York, the last year that New York, stadium, the new one was going to be built for baseball. They had the All-Star game. They hosted it in the last year. And I bought a American League jersey. I've never worn it. I bought it. I was, you get caught up in the nostalgia of things and
Yeah,
everything like that. I've never actually worn it. Or actually, I shouldn't say that. I wore it that day or to the game. And we went to the home run derby.
yeah, but never
But do
after that.
you? So let's go into, because this could get so many different levels. Like my thing is, if you're a guy and you wear another guy's jersey or whatever, there's obviously other sports too. You wear a girl's jersey at
Yeah,
WNBA or whatever. But if you're let's say you're the husband of a wife that's wearing another man's jersey, is that like, oh yeah, I love that guy too? Or is that like, you know, am I wearing like, do I have Matthew McConaughey posters all over? My wife's got Matthew McConaughey posters all over her walls. You kind of like,
yeah. Well, hopefully your wife isn't looking at you. Let's find out where Roman Yossi's going after the game. Like, I want to get my
yeah,
shirt
yeah,
signed.
exactly. Yeah, let's go to this event or that event. But like that's the,
I
so
don't know.
we need to, the parameters first. Okay, you answered this first. Then you asked the question: is it okay for a dude, to wear a jersey to a game?
All right. Here's the thing: is I'm a football fan. I could see myself wearing a football. I always wear t-shirts. Like if I'm going to, I
Yeah,
have a t-shirt for every team, every sports team that
me
I
too.
cheer for, and I wear those t-shirts. I got my Titan shirt, I got my Patriot shirt. I'm Red Sox. Like let's go. I got my t-shirt. I would never wear a jersey. I would feel awkward in a jersey, and certainly not with
Yeah,
hockey. I think for the average fan and going to a tailgate, you become like back to mindset. You become a little bit of a crazed psycho fan at a football game, right? There's only 17 games a year. You're tailgating. You're wearing your jersey. Like I can see that. I'm
yeah,
okay with that. I do think it's a little weird when men wear a hockey jersey.
yeah. I guess
And like,
stylistically,
can we please stop it with the number 69? Oh, I'm wearing
or
like
0.8 or 0.08.
you know,
You see that one?
like
Yeah,
yeah, like stop. You're Johnny Tryhard. You're being a
yeah,
hardo now, and stop it. But now the things change when you have a kid, right? If your kid brings a baseball glove to the game, I'm not bringing my glove, but I can understand
yeah. I
if you
would. Yeah,
bring your
I
glove
wouldn't
with your
care. I'm like,
kid.
that's,
Your kid. If your kid says we're going to the Preds game, like wear your jersey with
yeah.
me, Dad. Then all bets are off. And then there's also, who am I to judge? is the
That's
bottom line. And why do I
exactly.
care?
That's my whole thing.
You can do whatever you want to do.
That is exactly what I think. I think anybody
Other than the 69 thing, because then I have to explain it
yeah.
to my kids, and it's just like an awkward
Yeah, why
conversation.
is everyone laughing and pointing why is there a crowd around this guy?
Why is that?
Even though it can
Why
be
does he
funny
have that number?
sometimes
No
if it
one's
has to be the right execution, you have to have the right personality, all that stuff. But I'm the same as you. I'm like, I honestly, I don't care. And this is another faux pas that people talk about is like, if they're going to a Preds Blackhawks game, can you wear a Canadiens jersey to the game? Yeah. Yeah, you can. Why not? I think you're a hockey fan. I think fans, whether you hate another team or hate another fan base, everybody is exactly the same. These people that are wearing different jerseys, they love their team just as much as you love your team. If you were wearing the same
all right.
jersey,
Yeah.
you would be, besties in the circles on the whatever. So
Yep.
I don't even care. And for me personally, probably the only ones I would wear, Blue Jays, like, vintage jersey or something like that, or a hat. And you and me are both probably the same. Like I'm more of a t-shirt and a hat guy. But I would definitely, if
Yeah.
I'm going to a Blue Jays game, I would wear a hat. And when I played in St. Louis,
Yeah. You got to
support the
support the
team.
team. Here's the other thing. Okay. If you're painting your face, all bets are off. You can wear a jersey. You
Yeah,
can
if you're
wear
a
whatever you
character,
want. Like you're a full
yeah,
send.
yeah.
That's full send. You got if you're
Like the
a warrior,
Predskin is
you
if
know,
you're wearing a poncho,
yes. If you're wearing a poncho, a sombrero with a helmet and gloves,
you're a legend.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. And you know what's funny is every time like they're trying to do things to get the fans going. This is why I love it because you show this guy that's doing a funny dance, and then you show a cute little baby. Everyone's like ah, and then they show the Predsican, and it's almost like the Preds just scored a goal. Everyone just going
yeah.
ah, and then yeah,
Oh,
it's the
he's the
best.
best.
And then they go to the baby, and everyone's like yay, and obviously everyone loves babies and kids and stuff. They go to the funny guy dancing with a sick mustache and showing his belly or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
they go, and then they show the
yeah,
Predsican, and everybody just goes crazy.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, yeah, I love it. I love it. But that's yeah,
Here's the thing. Here's the thing: is you gotta support your team's colors
yeah,
no matter
absolutely.
what. Like you need to wear something that works with
Yeah,
your
you can't go
team's
to Preds
colors.
game and wear
And
red.
so,
Like it's just
no,
why don't do it. Like
no,
that's like
no. Like if you're a Red Wings fan, okay, whatever. But you got to like next time I see Bridgestone, we should see gold
gold or like even
everywhere.
like
Like
navy.
or
Navy,
blue,
if you don't like it,
navy
some
or
people like
gold.
the dark. They've got those embossed hats where it's like all navy with the Navy
Yeah,
logo, and
yeah, yeah.
or you have a
That's
stripe of
great. That's
gold or
fine. But
whatever. Yeah,
those
yeah,
two colors, we should
yeah,
see everything. If you're supporting the other team, okay, I
yep,
respect you. I don't like you, but
yep,
I respect you.
yep,
But
100%.
if you're a Preds fan, wear the
Yeah,
colors.
I agree.
You don't have to wear a
Yeah,
jersey. And in the end, Mace, as we always say, do
you do
you
you.
do
We love
you.
people. I do not care. Everyone always says, "Oh,
If you're a
sorry, we
freak
like this
show,
team. We like this
let your
team."
freak flag
Yeah,
fly.
we don't care. We love everybody. That's the funny thing is like we've talked to so many people that are like,
Just don't get mad at it if I
yeah,
laugh at you.
exactly. And we're allowed to you can make fun of us all you want. I don't care. I actually like when people make fun of
That's
me.
a
It's funny. I think it's funny. But if we make fun of you, it's the same thing, and it's no ill will against that. But yeah,
nope.
that's a great topic, and I know that's a very passionate one amongst fans. But I think you know what?
I want to hear
Yeah, let's
feedback
hear
on that
feedback
one.
because I don't care if you're wearing. Sometimes I think you're wearing a Texas Rangers jersey at a St. Louis Cardinals and Chicago Cubs game. Who cares? Who cares? You're there. You love
Yeah.
baseball. You love the
Yeah.
sport. I want to show people this is my team. You're exactly the same. They love their team. They're from
Yeah.
Texas. They whatever. Who cares? Like I think the more the merrier. Um, Violence at sports events
Yeah.
it's unhinged to me. It's like it doesn't make sense. I get it. You're passionate about it, but that's another topic. But you're all the same.
You're not in the arena.
Yeah.
Settle
Like, come on.
down.
I get it. I get it. I get it. All right, Skillsy.
Yeah.
All right, I'll bypass that one.
Are we hitting our
Well,
next
I
road
think we
trip?
just mentioned it because it's going to be
The
kind of
next
funny.
the next
I was
the
deciding whether we talk about it or not, but it's actually going to be. I've been thinking about it because it's like it's pretty crazy that we're going to be in Washington D.C. election day, and then the Preds play the Capitals, so we'll be there for day and night. when everything's getting done. But that's like pretty crazy. And we're not getting political here, obviously, but like being there,
No, it's just more,
during that time, that's like a pretty massive event, especially in Washington, D.C. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Lindsay's texted the group. She's like, hey, do you guys realize that we're going to be in DC the day of the election? We play the Caps. And I'm like, I know the next game. I don't know. Lindsay's the one.
Yeah.
She's like our girl, that person that just like, she's like, hey, this is what's coming up. She knows everything, but I'm a like 2 or 3 day guy ahead, and that's it.
Yeah.
But that's going to be kind of nuts.
I don't know what day of the week it is. I know if I have a game or the game is 3 days away.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's the next
so
week.
a week, we're going to be there
What's
election
next?
night. That'll be like,
So-
what are we going to go out with? Have a couple of beers or what?
Do you check your bags and go out and and what happens? Do you just go out into a wall of traffic? Is
I
it
don't
going to
know.
be traffic? Is there going to be like, I assume police presence everywhere? They want to, like, I don't know. Is it going to be a weird feeling? Because is anyone going to be out? Is the other question. Like, everyone works in politics in DC. Are they even going to be out, or are they going to be like hinged to the TV? Is it going to be like a sporting event where we're actually watching the ticker? Like
100%, it will be. It'll be more than that.
Kamala's up.
Except
Trump's up.
Literally, the whole country will be. So
Ohio's in. We got Ohio's in. What is it?
Yeah.
What's the? Like everyone staring at the TV. Is that
know.
how it's going to be?
So then all of a sudden it's going to be like watching a sporting event, I guess, because half the people are going to be happy and half the people are going to be sad and mad. So I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I'm actually looking forward to being in there at that point, just to see what it's like, because
as a new American, you should experience
absolutely. I voted.
that.
So I'm looking forward to, like, I feel it's obviously politics, I think is crazy, but
I was excited to get you by the Washington Memorial and like go and get pictures of you with Abraham Lincoln statue. Like, I would do the Lincoln Memorial. I wanted to have all of that, but I don't think we're going to do that.
I don't think I don't know. Like, I don't know if
you're going to have to wait to be fully Americanized later on.
I think so, but that'll be fun. We'll report back on that to see, because you're right. It's probably like, anything. You go to, a bar when you're watching the Preds playing, it's a Preds bar, and you're watching you go to a bar that's Blackhawks fans. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same. Like, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy. It'll be fun though. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, go vote. Go vote, people. Go vote. I know, Mace, you already voted.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what's funny?
One of the newest Americans.
You know what's funny
America.
though? And I told my daughter this too, and she just voted, and I'd never voted in my life. I've never voted in the Canadian election. Obviously, this is the first year I was ever eligible to vote in the United States. And I'm like, good for you. I'm like, that's one thing you can do, whatever your, view on anything is. If you want to be heard and whatever, go vote. I never did it. I wish I did, but I honestly didn't care about politics. I never had any interest in it. I really, it wasn't any part of my, daily life, I thought, and now, I'm almost 50 years old. I did for the first time. So I'm glad the young kids,
older and wiser,
whatever. Everyone's got their opinion. Go do what you got to do. I don't care what side you're on. Just go do it. Go do your thing. Go do you. Do you. Just like wearing a jersey. You do you.
And that's the last time we'll ever talk about politics.
Yep. But that was actually it's going to be an experience. We'll tell you about it for sure. Okay. We're going to wrap. Skillsy, one more plug for the Service Cup, because that's going to be fun.
Service Cup, November 22nd in Antioch, Ford Ice Center, Antioch, 7:30. Yep. I think people should come out. It'd be a fun tournament to watch.
Are we playing in it?
We want to take care of these guys. Okay. Yes, you bet your butt.
Sometimes I feel like
on, man. You're going to be buzzing out there. Home, we got alumni coming out. We got some alumni coming out.
It's
5
fun.
or 6.
It's a
committed.
good cause. It's great people. You have some good personalities, and you get, if you want to come see us, we'll chat you up, and you have access to everybody, and it's just a good time and a great cause for sure.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Cheer these guys on. They've been working hard for us, so our chance to give back. And if you want to come out, have a couple pops and cheer the boys on and the girls. There's some good girl players too. So anyway, we'll have some fun.
Yeah. Good story.
Wrap it up, man. That's it.
Let's do the closeout. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, guys. Like us. hate us. Let us know.
Do what
Give
you
us your
want to do.
feedback.
Just let us know. You got any topics, anything you want to hear? Let us know, guys. We'll start getting some guests on, and
Cheers.
we're gonna do this thing. All right, guys. Cheers.